Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It is Thursday night, and I am not playing Scrabble today. I'm going to be analyzing some of my games from Albany that happened on the weekend. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen a lot of the action there. So good evening to everyone that is here. So yeah, if you didn't know or didn't see, Boblin Superstars was held in Albany, New York State. On Thursday to Sunday last week, and there was a huge prize pool, so that was the most notable part. And then obviously with the large prize pool, a lot of the top players from North America were in attendance, and even not from America too, including the GOAT himself, Nigel Richards. He was also there. So yeah, there were 28 games in total, and yeah, there was a lot of top players there. So interesting tournament to be a part of. Good evening or good morning to Brentus Firmus. Good to see you here as always. So yeah, it was a there was tough player, there were top players all throughout the division. Some top players did a lot better than others, and yeah, I mean, even if you just kind of look down the results and the list of players that potentially didn't do quite as well as you probably would have thought, the depth of the division was very, very strong. So I guess people could also say it's a bit of a Causeway Light in terms of just the strength of the Superstars division. But yes, in terms of me, I was seeded number 13 out of I think 53 players. So I was just about in the top quarter, so I was not eligible for any class prize or anything like that. Yeah, we're aiming for obviously for the top 10, which is what the amounts are for cashing, especially in this division. 20,000 top prize as well, so a lot of money on the line. But today we're going to be analyzing probably 6 games that I have kind of picked out against some of the higher rated players in the division, and maybe some interesting games that were had. But if you want the TLDR version of things, I did manage to cash in 10th place. I did manage to win 3 of the last 4 games on the final day to kind of sneak my way into the cash prizes, which goes along with the 9th place that I had last year as well. So I managed to just about get into the cash positions both years. And yes, one of the strongest US players, Dave Wiegand, ended up winning the tournament, especially in the last game. Very closely fought amongst maybe 10 people at some point. I'm sure they all were in the top 2 or 3 at some point in the tournament. So the league kept changing hands throughout. But yeah, that is I guess the synopsis. I guess you can tune out now if that's what you were here for. But if you wanted to watch some of the action back, you can always go back to the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. All the live action was there. It's still there right now. Yeah, I guess you can do that at any point. So that is always there for you. And in terms of what's next for me, is going to be it's going to be SPC, which will start in just over a week from now. So that will be held in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's the traditional NASPA National Championships. So that's the next one for me. But first and foremost, we'll kind of go through some games through Albany. I do have things open, but at the moment I do have all my games in front of me. All my score sheets are here. I've analyzed pretty much all of them already, and I have my scorecard here as well. It's all here. And we'll kind of go through some of the more, say, interesting stuff. Again, I can't obviously can't go through 28 games, but I'll go through 6, and again, one of them was a buy anyway, so we'll do that. And also we'll have a prediction as well later on in terms of how many blanks did you think that I have had during this tournament. I've done the tallies and everything, and have a number, so you guys can decide out of well, there were 28 games, but one was a buy, so out of 27 games, 54 blanks, how many blanks do you think I had? We'll put that prediction out very soon. But yeah, we'll get started. So I'll kind of run through as well. Is it 7? Well, there is an option for that. It's going to be a lower option. You guess you can get involved with that soon. Actually, you know what? I actually could just start the prediction now. There's no real reason to delay this, so I might as well just start it now. Yeah, there's no real reason why not. So okay, we'll put the prediction out. You can start predicting in terms of how many blanks you think I got. So option 1 is 28 or more out of 54. Option 2 is 24 to 27. Option 3 is 20 to 23, and option 4 is 19 or fewer. So use your 8 coins wisely to get predicting on that. There will be I guess a bit of information coming up real soon that might sway your decision in some way, but we'll see if that happens in the next 30 minutes. So yes, let's just kind of talk about the rundown of the games that I played. So the first 3 games were kind of a round robin. As I said, we're divided into kind of quarters in terms of seeding. So I was in the top quarter, and I was playing someone in the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter of the ratings in the players in the division. So I played actually one of the lower rated players in the division, Mark Francelon, and I actually lost the game. So that was not a good start for me. Turns out there wasn't really much I could do, but ended up losing by 77. So that was not a great start for me. Game number 2, I played against Boblin himself. I could have went through this game, but we actually have a lot of like very hard-hitting players that I would like to feature in the stream. And Boblin, I managed to just come out in front with an 8-point win, and it was mainly because I actually had 2 of my words challenged unsuccessfully. So he actually gave me 10 points. Otherwise, I would have lost by 2. So I feel pretty grateful that I managed to come out on top on that one. So it was 1-1. Game number 3, played against Jason Keller. Pretty lucky in this one. Got into an early lead, and fortunately, about half a bingo in front, he actually made a phony, and I could lock up the board that way, so I ended up winning by 84. So things are asking, what words did he challenge? Good question. So he actually challenged the word shopman, S-H-O-P-M-A-N. So I guess I could type it in the chat. So there's this word, and the other one was actually habitude. Was that one as well. So those are the 2 words that he challenged, both bingos. So yeah, that was that. So 2-1 option. Game number 4 was against Laurie Cohen. A little bit lucky here too. I was actually in front pretty much the whole game, but she got a bingo down with an S and a blank, and then I had some very bad tiles towards the end. Both NWL 2. Well, there you go. There you go. Thank you, Luckbox Lynn, and good evening to you. But yeah, lucky that she actually didn't have the right tiles to bingo near the end and managed to win by 19 to move to 3-1. And then game 5 was against the reigning world champion, Adam Logan, who, again, a lot of you may have seen him play his Wesper Word Wars duel against Nigel Richards in the 2 days prior to the main event. And he ended up winning the best of 15, 8-6. So again, absolutely no slouch here. Again, a world champion has beaten Nigel Richards in 2 best of formats in the past year. I play against him in game 5. So we're actually going to go and analyze this game right now. So let's move over to this screen over here. All right. Okay, so let's talk about what we did. So, I'm to go first. I have this rack. Not particularly a great rack at all, but decide to wait, to make sure I have the right. Okay, I do have something like medii, or actually it is not a valid word here, but I decided to play miry for 18. There's no particularly amazing play here, but this is one of the better options. And then he plays Cormus. He actually has a bingo here. He plays it above miry. So he's already in front by a little bit, so not particularly great. But fortunately for me, I have this rack looking for a floating R, which I actually put out on the board already in my first turn, but luckily he puts out another one. And unhaired is the only bingo playable. I play through Cormus. And then Adam plays Hepe here for 31. Which was actually a very lucky move at that time, because this is my rack. There was no floating T for Travelogue, but I'm not sure if it's only Collins only, but I think it might be. But Vorlage is the bingo in this rack, and it gives me a spot to play underneath the E of Hefe. So I play Vorlage for 73. Very lucky with that. And then Adam plays Wet here. So now, despite my 2 bingos, I'm actually not that far in front still. And then I think this is what I have here. I have this rack. A few different ways you can go with this. I was looking at, obviously I've got too many consonants, but some of the consonants are not too bad. We're looking at maybe playing something through the A, like Basa, however you pronounce it, or Banda, or Bandar, something like that. A dunk is another option as well, but keeps the B. So there are lots of different options that are kind of the same. Vorlage is NWO, okay. Good to know. So yeah, I actually went with Banda because it takes the R hook. I was like, I'm just gonna keep CRS, this looks pretty strong. And an S hook on Rev as well. And a floating A looks pretty good to me. So that was the move that I played. Adam played Zax through the A of Unhaired, getting 38 points. So I kept CRS from my last rack, and I actually end up drawing A, E, N, T. So that's pretty lucky in that sense. And it was like bingos can play pretty much anywhere. It was just a matter of finding the highest scoring bingo, and maybe potentially the most more defensive option, maybe, if you wanted to kind of go that way. Especially with both H's already being played, which could have been something like Canters, but I did opt for the more higher scoring play, tripling the C with Nectars, 89 points, which is the highest scoring play on this turn. Again, another nudge as well, that there is a prediction still ongoing. You can predict how many blanks I had in this tournament. That is still available for you to look at. I mean, to get involved with. Maybe there's something I can. I don't know if there's something I can do real quick. Let me just have a look for a second. Okay, never mind. It's okay. Okay, so I played Nectars, and then just when I thought, you know what, I'm in pretty good shape here. I actually have a bingo ready to go for the next time. And then he actually has both blanks. So he actually plays Igniter here. Blank, blank. Like that. This is actually one of his it's actually the highest scoring play that he has, 81 points. Of course, it could be Ignited or whatever, but or Ignites, but DR makes it a bit more tricky, I guess, to some degree. There's that. Good evening to Noah in the chat also. Good to see you here, and also good to see you in Albany as well. I know that we didn't get to play, but good to see you competing and out there again. So yeah, I drew into Aerosat, which played above or below Nectars. So I was like, oh, and maybe something doesn't fit, but luckily the N is on the board at the top. So I have Anestra for 70. That comes down, so back up to 100 points in front here. And again, include, Adam is a very heavy scorer. He ends up playing above Anestra. He plays Kited here for 56 points, which is actually almost as much as my bingo. And he is still, despite all of this, not very far behind. He was telling me after the game maybe he could have played Diet under here and preserved the K, but which actually might have worked in this position because I didn't have anything good to go next to that A. I had this rack here, not particularly nice whatsoever, but this seemed like just an exercise of just getting rid of some unwanted tiles here. So I played Owo. Doesn't Diet make sense? I guess just what you're saying. Yeah, he thought about it. I mean, it does score like a fair bit less, and the chances of me playing or mucking up this A is pretty high potentially. Oh, does it make SE? Oh wait, sorry, not Diet. I meant Dite. Sorry, my bad. DITE. Sorry, that's what I meant. Which is also what that's what I think that's what he was telling me. Sorry. So here I decided just to take access to this spot here, just play Owo and do that. So just get some points there. And then Adam slows down a little bit also. He also has 2 O's of his own. He plays Alu through Vorlage. And then this was a pivotal move now. So I have this rack. My rack is not particularly good. I literally just drew IIP from the bag. And I'm not particularly liking the fact that obviously my tiles are not good. Also the fact that whatever I do here is pretty much going to leave me some bad tiles no matter what. You can also see the pool there. There's still an S left. And big bingo lanes with revs and potentially anything with ending with ES or something down here. And maybe a bingo lane with a C. And they're all kind of in the same area of the board. And me being about 50 points in front, I kind of wanted to at least defend against it to some degree. It was I did spend a fair bit of time on this move. Again, I could play something like PIU, like above Anestra, or taking out this triple, but with a move like Alu, it kind of feels like Adam probably doesn't have many big tiles. He's probably got lots of one-pointers. He might be close to a bingo. In the end of the day, he actually said he didn't have anything, but he did actually have an S. He did say that, at least tell me that at the end. But so I guess I was right to some degree to play pieing. I decided to try and mess up these 2 bingo lanes in row 11 and 13. So pieing was my move here, which seems not too bad. I don't necessarily block this C, but it's probably a bit more difficult to use anyway. So yeah, after Adam thinks for a while, he plays Eend, which seems like a very desperate play. 30 points and has a whole bunch of hooks next to it as well. This was my rack now. And again, lots of hooks for Eend, so it seemed like a no-brainer to at least block it. And I did find the best play to block it with, and it was Tabuli for 40 points and leaned. This seems like the best play here. by a long way. Good evening. I think the most important thing is how did you fare versus the people that watch you on Twitch? Well, that is a good question. It depends who is watching right now, I guess. Maybe we can do a tally of that later on. Okay, so I did Tabuli. So yeah, I'm now looking in very good shape here. Not too many things that are open. And he plays, what did he play? Played Suk, S-U-Q, for 27 points, which actually empties the bag, so there's only 6 tiles on Adam's rack now. Yeah. Oh, that's not the right rack. Wait a minute. I've had this rack, so you can see the letters that you have left. EGLLVY, so nothing particularly scary there at all. It's just a matter of trying to block his highest scoring outplay, or high scoring play in general, which I think was really just grey here. So I wanted to kind of mess that up, but also leave myself a way to kind of go out. He also has Gyve here, GYVE, which gets rid of all of his big tiles. So I decided to try and have a little bit of both worlds. I play Rip here, keeping Finer, so I have Finer here, and things like End Fire or Refine here as well, so we have to try and block. And anything I think he really does actually gives me some kind of playback, so wasn't too worried about that. So yeah, I did Rip. And then he does Gyve, not unsurprisingly. So I'm up by 44 here. He has 2 L's. So again, this is just a good endgame exercise here of, you know, playing or finding your highest scoring outplay, which was Fringe. And I had obviously had, if he put in a wine spit, I had Finery as well. But the thing is that he only has one place to go out. So he has ELL. So if you kind of generate the choices, you can see that a lot of things here are near the I mean, obviously Fringe and Finery, but once you kind of maybe ask Championship play here, you can see that actually going out is actually not the best thing to do. It turns out that Rin up top is actually the best thing to do. You end up blocking ELL, and you have EF to go out on the next turn. Either here, up top, or underneath Rin as well. So I kind of had the right idea. I was actually 1 point off the best play. I played NE, allowing myself to play Fur, F-I-R, above Anestra, or Fur above Kited. So I kind of had the right idea. And again, you can see none of these top moves were actually to go out. So at least I managed to claw back a few spread points at the end of this game. So NE was played, and then he plays low, and then I play Fur, 32. And that was that. I ended up winning this game 496 to 411 against the current world champion, taking myself up to 4-1 at this moment in time after game 5. So yeah, sitting pretty here. I was very happy with that so far. And after 5 games, I actually had only drawn 3 blanks. So I was pretty happy with that. Again, talking about blanks, you guys in the chat can get involved with the prediction that's going on right now. How many blanks do you think I got during the Albany tournament? There's 4 different options to choose from, so select an option there. Use your A9 quiz wisely, get predicting on what you think the result would be. Does this make thanks to hi to Hop Out the Bed in the YouTube chat says, does this make you the new world champion since you beat the old one? Well, it doesn't take long for me to, if that was the case, it doesn't take long for me to relinquish that, because I lost the next game to Rashid Balagan. there was actually really not much I can do. I struggled to just get over 300 points, whilst he had both blanks and bingo with both blanks. So no blanks there either. After game 6, I was still on 3 blanks and the opponents had 9. And then still 4 and 2, but and then on game 7, I was actually on the stream. This was actually my only game on the stream this whole tournament. Game 7 against former world champion Wellington Jiggery. I got absolutely dismantled here. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I think there wasn't really too much more I could do in the end. He did get a 9 timer with both blanks. So he got 158 for that. I was actually about 270 points behind in the middle of the game, which again on the stream doesn't particularly make great viewing, but managed to at least not lose by 200 or something. I know how many blanks you drew versus Wellington. Yes, not many, or not any actually. So yes, round 7 did not go my way there either. So 4 and 3 after 7 games. And then we moved to game number 8 against Dennis Ikegaregor, one of the top players in the division, and I think he finished in the top 3 in this tournament also. Yeah, I was going to go through this game, but yeah, we've got I think there was maybe some more interesting things here, but in the other games maybe. But I did manage to bingo 4 times without any blanks. He ends up getting two blanks. He gets both blanks. He bingos with 1, and then couldn't quite land another one. Well, yeah, he couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't land another one with the other blanks. So I managed to stick him with the Q, and win by 75 points. So that was after day 1. I was actually at 5 and 3. Not too bad whatsoever. 5 and 3 against some very strong players, and only drawing 3 blanks out of 16. So that's could be a lot worse, I would say. Brentus asking, is Lindsay in the chat? I actually don't know. She might be watching TV or something. I'm not quite sure. I know that you're in contact with her about some tiles as well. So again, I thank you for that. Okay, so we'll fast forward to day 2. Playing as British expert Jason Carney. And this actually is the 6th game in a row now where I actually don't get a blank. So games 4 to 9, I have no blanks whatsoever. And this one I actually lose. I do lose to him as he gets an out bingo. And I lose by 80. 7 total is looking pretty good. It's not at this rate. Yeah, you're probably right. And we're literally a third of the way through the tournament with 9 games, and I actually end up playing 27 games, and we have 3 blanks. So we're 5 and 4 now with a minus spread. Okay, so round number 10 is against one of my viewers, Muff with Tentacle, also the reigning champion of this event from 2025. And this is a game we're going to go through. Just because it was notable, I'm going to go through it, so we will get that set up right now. Okay, it was me going first. Okay, so let's reset the scores. Okay, so let's see. The first move seems relatively straightforward. There's no bingos here. No, I'm going first. No, obviously no floating vowels for me to play bingos through. So it seems like a very straightforward, just playing Feg FEG. Keeping Rast looks very good to me. Best play. Matthew plays the word J underneath Feg for 29 points. So I have ERST. I do get a little unlucky here. I feel like I do draw into 3 constants, including a Q. So I drew NQR, which is not particularly the greatest of draws there. Could have probably have been better drawing some kind of vowel instead of the Q, which would be nice. But either way, the fine margins of having a bingo versus exchanging, I think. I exchanged 3 here. I decided to exchange the 3 tiles that I just drew. So you can see all the moves statically are pretty much all exchanging. I actually got rid of the N as well. Yeah, because I thought that if I draw into more constants, I could be in the same problem again. So give myself more chances for at least 1 vowel. So that was that. Matthew kind of underlaps J with a nice play of more, 38 points. So this time I had ERST. I was a little bit more fortunate this time, actually drawing LOS. So 3 bingos available here, which are ostlers, sterols, and torsals. And with Matthew playing more in this spot, I was like, oh yes, they're going to get a 4-timer here. We're going to underlap more. Really good here. Get a whole bunch of points. Until I looked at it a bit more closely and realized that none of those 3 bingos actually play underneath more. So I'm like, oh, this isn't quite as juicy as I had first imagined. And my highest scoring bingo was literally 69, making fegs. So I played torsos here in this position. Try not to float out any S's in space for 69. So I was like, okay, well, that's probably the best I can do. We're just going to go with that. And then Matthew had this rack. He had Ignite Blank, which I think we've already seen before against Adam. So yeah. This was there's a lot of kind of good plays here, but there's one standout play which Matthew obviously found. He's a top class player. He found it, and it was 111 point bingo, mingiest through the S, making Jai and Orn, and doesn't open up anything. So I'm like, wow, I just exchanged, and I just got a very relatively low scoring bingo, and then now he just played the blank through my bingo, doesn't give anything away, and now I'm in bad shape again. So that comes down, and I'm already 100 points behind. Again, not good, not good. And I'm staring at this rack here. This is my rack. There's not really, I don't think there's really that many options here. You're really just trying to get, towards a bingo, but all this whole, this area of the board on the left side of the board is all kind of blocked. All this stuff you can't really access, especially with FY and more and MM here. Yeah. Okay, my wife just replied to Brent. Good. But the bed says fish will be puzzle. Maybe oh yeah, I guess I could do it through this E. Fish for that blank. There's 1 blank there. There's always a chance. Unfortunately, I didn't actually think about that. So obviously, if I did think of be puzzle, then I would have fished for it. But I decided to play putts instead, keeping the able lead, which actually is very strong. So I played it for 30. I didn't particularly like blocking this T and the Z and the P being here, so it kind of mainly leaves this bingo lane open underneath the P, which is not the most fruitful, but I was like, well, the game is still young, we've still got plenty of time, let's just do what we can with it now. So I played putts, and then he plays Hoo, H-O-O, which again looks like a very fishy play. He tells me afterwards that he was fishing for something here. It's very close to something. So yeah, I'm basically one move away from kind of being out at sea here. But again, I have to throw caution to the wind. I have this rack now, I have boiled plus an A. I see the highest scoring play almost immediately and was like, I have to open up the board here. There's no real value in trying to keep things closed. Now that now with the A or D hook for Zoe is now available, but I decide I have to open up the bottom part of the board because I can't do anything down here. So I found Libido, 36 points keeping AE. Again, trying to go for the blank. That's really important at this stage. And try and score a bunch of points. So that's that. And then Matthew, surprisingly, doesn't bingo here. He plays Avi, AVI, and Azo, which again is, opens up another part of the board, which now is bingo friendly to some degree. Oh, wait, that's not right. Avi. Okay. Okay, so my rack is now wait a minute, wait down here. Oh yes, it was this. So I had AE. I actually did draw the blank. This is pretty much, it was very important that I did. Because kind of hope for this game was kind of running very low, but now with the blank in hand is now like a bingo, get a bingo down, then I'm back in business. I did think for a little while in this turn. No real obvious ways to play Wei or Yu, and not block things up, so I was like, I have to just try and maybe just score as many points as I can here, maybe open up the board some more. So I decided to play Tweep, 33 points, open the top part of the board. Keeps the Y, I know, but that's not too bad. But it's not that great either. But still have to do something that scores a lot more than anything else. Okay, so now I'm about 40 points behind. It's not looking quite as bad, and despite Matthew playing Hu and Avi, he plays Tutu next to Hoot. So I'm like, oh, looks like I've just dodged another bullet. The third move in a row. So I was fortunate with that. And not only that, my rack now matures into some nice tiles. I did keep AY blank, and I drew ANOR. There's donatory through the T here, and donatory down here as well. But I decided to either score more than donatory up here, not to open up the triple that donatory does at the bottom. So I find a nice play of any road for 75 points. Does block some things through the bottom three floating tiles as well, so has a little bit of defense to some degree, and it doesn't completely blow things open whatsoever. So I kind of like the position of this move. So after all that, I've actually now taken the lead, and what the I know it's a very weird Collins only word, but it means anyway. Although I don't really know why it's called road. I guess it might be used in terms of directional purposes. I don't know. So yeah, it turns out that after 3 dodged bullets, I've now made it 4 dodged bullets because Matthew now plays UDs. Very curious move of UDs here for 11 points. So if we kind of have a look at, this is my rack, and we kind of have a look at what tiles are left, there's only 1 S left. I think we actually say this in Australia. Okay, I mean, maybe so. Which would explain the Collins-ness of this word. I don't think I've ever used that word in any real conversation. But obviously some people have done or do in the past. Okay. Okay, so also, the my Collinsity? I don't know. I don't know what the real barometer is. Looks like Northern English, maybe. Could be. I mean, the fact that nobody truly knows is you know, says a lot. Also forgot to say thanks for the stream streak that Brentus Firmus has made public. Thank you very much. Also, the prediction is now ended, so if you have got your coins down already, then great. We will find out the result very soon. But Any Road was my 4th blank of the tournament, and this is game 10. So we'll see if that picks up at any moment. So your UDS comes down, which looks like another setup play for the S, the case S, that is probably lurking. Not deep in the bag, but probably on Matthew's rack. So had to kind of address this. And I guess to some degree I was kind of fortunate that I had the F. And maybe put something across here. I mean, that was basically it. Were you trying to channel Nigel Richards or something? What, with UDS? That was Matthew. It did turn out that Matthew did have the S as well, I think. I mean, it seemed like, I mean, yeah. So, like, I couldn't put things like FE because things ending with RS could play down here. Oh, but no drawing blanks. Oh, right. Yeah, oh, yeah. That feels like such a long time ago now. But yes, he went on a little dry run of no blanks, and I guess this ended my 6-game streak of no blanks as well. So I couldn't put FE there because of the ERS ending, so I decided to just put FA and preserve the CH combination as well. So I did that, and scores pretty well. I'm now 40 in front now. Matthew ends up kind of scoring some points here and blowing up the rack. He plays Encina. I think he said that he actually drew a bunch of N's, so that doesn't surprise me, playing Encina. So to go with my my draw, my 5 tiles here, I draw into IP. So I have this rack now, which looks pretty good, and it definitely looks even better once you notice that the T at the top of the board is open, wide open. So we talk about food a lot on this channel, and Chipotle would have been a very nice play here. But what makes it even better is that Chipotle has an anagram, and it is helicopter, as in a helicopter helicopters. So helicopter is a word, and that is my play. 98 points here, and it puts me way into the lead. So I was actually, after Mingiest, I was 95 points behind, as you can see here, but I am now 110 points in front in the space of about 5 turns. It doesn't get any better for Matthew, as he puts QI down here for 22, and it definitely doesn't get much better for him either here, because I have Embraid, which doesn't fit, but there's only one playable bingo which I find on this board here. I mean, I do take a few minutes to try and make sure that there's nothing else there, but I did find it. It was through the O at the bottom of the board of Amberoid, 66 points, so I play that as well. He plays Gox through the onto the G of Mingiest. So now the score is very heavily in my favor. I do have a bingo rack here. I do have Rangoli, doesn't fit. There's actually no bingos here. He has some blocking original through the I. No playable bingos here on this rack. I decided, well, a lot of these general moves are just to fish for a bingo, but I decided that there are a lot of bingos that could play down from the H and maybe with a K, like hankered or hearkened or something. So I decided to completely take out this whole top corner of this board and play Nargile. Keeps the O, leaves 2 in the bag, and it should be basically game over at that point. So I'm up by 132. And then actually Matthew starts running low on time, so he plays ES. He ends up emptying the bag. And I have this rack here. So he actually has Darknet or Tranked, which doesn't fit. Decided to try and play my highest score, or my best kind of move here. But I end up, which was actually Ore, which would actually was meant to block Need, which actually I wasn't really looking for, but he could play Need down here, which is actually what he ended up doing. I just try to go out in 2 here. I play Reaver for 20, and then he plays Need, and I have OO, which goes out in the top left corner, my highest scoring outplay. So I ended up winning this game 507 to 399. Again, I was kind of staring down the barrel after Mingiest in this spot here, where I am actually now 95 behind, and then I end up winning by 108. So it was a notable win against the current, well, at the time, the defending champion from 2025, and I improved my record to 6-4, and with only 4 blanks out of 20. So pretty happy with that. I mean, I actually was not counting the blanks throughout the tournament. I had no idea until I actually counted it up at the very end when I came home, and didn't realize that I actually had 6 games in a row where I had no blanks. But again, we'll keep the blank count going for the prediction purposes very soon. Okay, so that was game 10. Next game, 11, I played against Wesper Chairman, Lukman Owolabi. I managed to win that game by 31 points. Very close endgame, which ends up falling my way because he couldn't block all 3 of my outplays at the same time, despite them all being in the same area of the board. So I was very lucky there. And then on day 2 lunchtime, just before lunchtime, I played against Neil Gann. Got very lucky with 5 bingos, and it was actually the first game. Well, actually, against Lukman, I got both blanks, and against Neil Gann, I also got both blanks. So I'm actually now starting to even out my blank count a little bit. I almost get to 600 points, 5 bingos. I drew both blanks, drew all the S's, and yeah, got very lucky. Very lucky indeed, especially in the middle of the game where I scored, I think, something like, what is it? What is that? Like 385 points in about 6 turns or something like that. It was something crazy to kind of win by over 200 points. So before lunchtime, day 2, managed to get to 8-4. And then I suddenly look at the pairings, because they do pairings for obviously for the following game and then the next game after that for these kind of breaks. And then I was paired to play against Will Anderson, game 13, and then game 14 playing against Dave Weekend. So I'm like, great, got some nice easy games here. But yeah, this is what we're here for. We're here to play against top players and see what can happen. So we're actually going to go through both of those games right here for you. So game number 13 was against Will Anderson. Again, a lot of you will know him from his Wonder of 15 Scrabble YouTube channel and his videos. And if you don't already know about him, then you should definitely subscribe to his channel on YouTube. So let's reset everything, and we will start going through game number 13 against him. This is my rack, the first rack here. Who is Will Anderson? That's right. I think someone mentioned that on during a tournament online one time. Who is Wanderer 15? So yeah, I had a first rack here. Gorpia was not a word. It did cross my mind if that was a word, but it's just Gorpa. But that kept an eye, so I didn't want to do that. I decided to play Wiper instead. He's on the Houston, Texas, isn't he? Yes, that's true. But I think he's known as Will Anderson Jr. though, so you know, almost. And actually, the Texans is actually the NFL team that I follow, so I'm very well aware of all the Will Andersons that there are around. Okay, Wiper comes down first. I didn't particularly love this player keeping the G, but I was like, well, I think the score is worth it here. I get burned by the axe. He plays Docs on this turn here. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Wait, I need to do this again because I'm actually going first. 1 second. One second, guys. Okay, so I have this rack, and then I play Wiper. So let's do that. Then he plays Ducks. Okay, and then with my AG leave, not good. I drew into INOOU. So I was like, okay, well, not great, but you know, I think we can just about work around it. I did decide to play OO underneath Docs, try and keep things a little bit under wraps a little bit here. 21 points isn't too bad. And then he actually also plays 2 tiles. He plays Ch and Poo for 23. The difference here is that I did definitely not draw S blank from the bag. I mean, I did keep this, but I did almost draw an equally lucky OT from the bag. So I have a place to play my bingos of either outgain or autoing. I decided to play autoing because it doesn't take the S, so, and also it makes it a bit harder to play underneath here. So I got very lucky with that draw. And then he plays through the O. He plays Browse using the S, which is a bit suspect as always, but quite clearly he has another S. I get kind of lucky here as well. I did manage to draw the blank. With this I have Ravine blank, so I did play Ravines and Swiper, which actually makes it slightly more valuable knowing that he actually has an S on his rack up the Browse, so I play that here. So now I'm up by about 100. He ends up playing QI here next to Ravines, and I have this rack now. So I've got this rack. I know that he has an S on his rack, and looking at different options of like Creek through the R of Ravines, maybe saving the O, or Croak or something, or maybe trying to block the triple on the left side with the QI where QI is now, but didn't feel like any of those were really worth it. If you find the best play here, 48 points, which is what I did. No Cake and Un keeping the E. I was like, okay, well, 48 points is a lot here. I mean, he probably will bingo for like 70 or 80, so I'm only going to lose like maybe 20, 30 points, maybe. It's not too bad with the lead this big. Again, he could also just completely brick with his draw, so let's just keep scoring points and get 48 here. Try and go for the destined blanks. And this time he definitely did not brick. He managed to play Panniers and pin for 85. So he's now 40 points behind. So this one was a pretty interesting position here. I think that's what I... No, wait, sorry, that's not what I had. I had 2 wides. This was an interesting play here, because now it's like, okay, I'm now 40 points in front. I've got the next turn. I have 2 Ys, I have a G, I have 2 Es. My landers are not like the worst, but they're also not that great either. And I do have options to score points. It's a matter of, do I want to block things up? Do I want to kind of stay aggressive, try and open more things on the board? But now, you know, we both kind of have relatively random racks. I just drew 6 tiles and he just drew 7. Or kind of what area of the board do you want to play? Because there's actually good scoring options on all 4 corners of the board for what I have. So yeah, definitely was thinking of things like Leggy and Browse, but I was like, well, this could give up a bunch of points underneath Browse. Didn't like that. Didn't really want to play up here either. Kind of opens up an area of the board that isn't really that accessible at this moment in time. So I didn't want to kind of offer even more options when I was already ahead. I could play something through the R like Greedy, which is, again, probably not all that bad, but again, I keep a Y and I open a triple, so it's not really something I want to do. I could also play Leggy down here and Etch. But I kind of did something else. I decided to utilize the Y that I have, and Browse also can make, instead of an E hook, you can put the Y here for Browsy. So I decided to play Guy out here for 32 points. I'm going to spend like 5 minutes on this turn. Does take the S hook though, so it's a little bit of danger, but you end up blocking some of these bingo lanes through the N and the G, which again, he just drew, but he just played a bingo. Not likely to happen, but it's a good way of getting rid of some tiles for a good number of points. Keeps EY, which is not amazing, but probably about as good as you can hope for at this moment in time. So I played Guy out. This was actually not the best play. Actually the best play was playing through the R, not Greedy, but you can play Grayly for 30 points. This was actually the better play here. Keeping DE, this is by far the best leave and play combination here, even though despite it opening up the triple. But Grayly was the best play here, so I didn't find that in time. So I stick with Guy out here, which is again not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst, but some improvement could be made with that one. Then he plays third through the R of Ravine, 28 points. I have this rack now, kept EY, so just your AHIUT, well, this should be TU, I guess, alphabetically. Found the best move here. You know, kind of cashing in my high point tiles and playing on the triple, which is higher, 38 points. Oh, there we go. So now up to about 80 points in front. And then he actually utilizes the S hook for Guile, so Just was played here, also a lot of points, 44. I now have this rack here, which I don't, I was kind of thinking if it kind of landed to a kind of gave me a bingo or not, but I was maybe a tile or 2 off. A lot of different options. In terms of maybe fishing for certain different things, or just playing in the top corner, or the fact that I actually do have quite a bunch of like not so great tiles. I could play things like Umbo here, but there might be some hooks, or Ombu and Och. But I then looked at the tile bag and looked like there was a lot of E's and I's left. Did not really want to keep, well, E, I's and T's, all of them, there's a lot of them left, which would be exactly what I'd be keeping. So I didn't really want to do that either. So I decided to play Imbue and Itch, which was actually this one here, keeping OT. Potentially, again, S and blank could still be in the bag, so I could try and get another chance to draw into those. So I played that for 28 points. Will starts really hammering down some more scores here. He just got 44 for Justin. He gets 54 for Zerda. So now only just 12 points in front. That's it. So I kept OT on my rack. I do get somewhat lucky here. I do draw the S. And I also draw ELMN. So I have this rack. I have Laments and Meltons, which actually got blocked by Zerda here, which was a little unfortunate. But what was fortunate is that it was unblockable because there's an A at the bottom of the board, and that is actually my only playable bingo of Salmonette for 74 points, which is what I played. Have to find this one. Relatively high probable word here, but again, you just need to make sure you find them. Kind of pads my lead back up to 86. Then Will makes use of the Z that he just opened up for himself, playing Zati. And this is where things got interesting in this game. So I don't have the blank. I have this rack here. So we're looking at the tiles that are left. Look at those tiles. They're actually pretty good. And there's only 3 tiles in the bag. So I'm kind of now stuck in a bit of a bind here because he did just play ATI. It's pretty likely that he actually has a bingo on his rack right now. Especially with this R in open space. Like, a lot of ING words can play here. A lot of words, I mean, there's no R left in the unseen pool. So this is actually a very positive tile. He could also have a bunch of bingos with the E, like Inveigle, or some other way of spelling Inveigle. Or even bingos that don't start with an E. There's anything that fits down here could still work. And he also potentially has this V as well. There's still 7 spaces all the way to here that fit. So now I'm kind of stuck in terms of what do I actually play. And it wasn't necessarily an easy choice as to what to do. I just kind of had the idea that maybe with my 47-point lead, I should be trying to either block the highest scoring bingo lane, which might be the E down here, and only play 2 tiles. I should never be playing more than 2 tiles here, because the bingo automatically loses pretty much, unless I can score like 50 points or something. So yeah, that was a bit of a troublesome move. And I kind of fell to the idea of like, maybe I should block this E to some degree here. And maybe I just play something down here. I mean, the highest scoring play that I can play down here that plays off fewer than 3 tiles was just playing FA. And it has the added benefit of that if I have ILOTT, I have the T, I can actually play underneath here, like TI something, TO something, TT something. And there are no T's or S's left in the bag. It's just a blank. So it's kind of a bit of a setup play as well, to some degree. I have potential points down here as well later on if Will does bingo and I don't have to worry about blocking anything. But I get another 19 points on the board as well. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird situation to be in. But we just didn't want to empty the bag. So that's what I did. I did do FA. I think, according to Macondo, at the very least, it actually didn't like this move. It actually wanted me to kind of do a very similar thing. I kind of had the right idea of playing 2 tiles and scoring as many points as I can. And it wanted me to do pretty much the same thing, but doing something like off. Which would have scored 8 more points. So if I got 27 points here, I'm now up by 74. And it pretty much means that if he bingos, like, I don't know, we just want to say like levering or something like here, or anything with the V here, would score probably like mid 70s, which will only tie the game, and then I have 7 tiles to score with. Or even worst case of like Envigor down here is probably one of the few ways that I could lose. But he has to have pretty much all the constants to basically do that. The problem is that you can play Envigor without the blank, so there are obviously like 7 more chances of that happening with the blank there. So that's kind of what I was actually scared of. But that was kind of that. This actually becomes a very interesting endgame, because we're kind of talking about it later. But if you play off here, you're now looking at, okay, potentially Will bingoing, and then he has 1 tile left that he will draw from the bag. So then what does he do with that 1 tile? Because after off, there's actually not that many places to score that many points with 1 tile. Especially with 5 of those tiles being vowels. You're probably not gonna get 1 point tile. You're probably gonna score like 8 points or something. You're not gonna score that much. But if you take off the board, you put FA down here, then now any of the E's, I's, or O's will now play in the top corner here for 15 points. That actually now becomes very valuable. So not only do you score 8 points fewer by not playing off and playing far, you also give up about 8 extra points by not blocking the F. Potentially if he draws into one of those vowels and then can play it there, which is a 16-point swing. Especially when after a bingo it will be pretty much be level. So a 16-point swing is huge in this situation. Again, this is a situational thing, because if the score was an extra 20 points for me here, I was on 431, and it doesn't really matter what I do. I will still win no matter what. And also, if I had 20 points fewer, it doesn't really matter that much either. I mean, Will would actually just bingo and then he would win. It just kind of is this weird 50-point tipping point here in terms of, do you bingo, or how much is the bingo going to be? So this is what I do here. I play far. I have to just hope now, or just have to be in the mercy of what is Will going to do. He's 66 points behind. So he actually ends up thinking for about 10 minutes or so. And I was like, okay, this is not going to be great here. So based on what he ends up drawing was actually this, I think. He actually has this rack, which pretty much bingos in any situation, anywhere that you could possibly want. The question is the bingo going to be enough to win? Because now you have to withstand a relatively low scoring bingo. Like, he could play something like valeting here. These are blanks, so he would score 76 points. He's actually 66 points behind. And with 1 tile in the bag, it might not score that much. And if I can score something like 25, 30 points, which it might not be that easy on this board potentially, but especially with triples open, it could be done, then he won't win. So what he ended up doing was playing QIN. He just puts the N down here for 12 points. Empties the bag. I actually have this rack here now. I don't draw the E. I have ILOOTTV, which actually doesn't look particularly good whatsoever here. It's actually very bad with what it looks like right now. Until you realize that I can actually block both of these bingo lanes here in rows 3 and 4 with one of my highest scoring players of Vitro for 24 points. This blocks bingos here as well, which is an benefit. the thing is that Will actually ends up drawing the E, so if he did play valeting, and then he actually had that E to go in this top corner here for 15, and I think he would have won the game. So it does come to the, come to the end of the game, one in the bag. Like, these kind of situations can get very complicated. Again, you're just kind of thinking about what you could be drawing or what the possible outcomes are. But yes, I played Vitro here. This has to be the move. And you can see when you generate the choices from his point of view, there are actually no bingos playable now. So he passed up the bingo with the V, and now he doesn't have anything. And the thing is, as we said, if he played valeting first, drew the E, he'd have 15 points to go out here. He actually would have won. So, I know that Will was pretty disappointed about losing this game, because I think he said that he outsmarted himself in this instance, but he did. I mean, he had enough time to kind of work out the situation, but I think he said, funny enough, that was the what I just mentioned was actually the one situation that he didn't think about in terms of having the bingo and having enough to go out with. Which again, given another situation, he may not have drawn the E, he may have drawn an L or something. He might have got, like, instead of 15, he would have got the L for 9 or something like that. And then maybe he couldn't have won. I mean, there are different ways that we can look at it from that point of view. It got very dicey towards the end in terms of who was going to win, depending on what situation or what decision that Will decided to go down with his bingo. And another chance, you roll the dice again, maybe he would have got something down, and maybe the board was maybe slightly too blocked after Vitro to really deal with it. So I was very lucky here that it pretty much worked out best case scenario for me, that Will passed up a bingo and then couldn't play a bingo. So he plays heels here. And then I have my highest scoring outplay of lot to win 482 to 414. So what should have been a loss, or could have been a loss, ended up being a 68-point victory. Very fortunate. And again, there were so many things to think about from Will's point of view with that QIN play. Again, 10 minutes again sounds like a long time, but when you're literally calculating every single thing, every single possibility from that point on, 10 minutes is definitely not enough. Definitely not enough time. Definitely not enough. Like, we're spoiled with the fact that we have things like Quackle, things like Macondo, other engines that are possibly going to be, or just any engine that can work things out pretty quickly. But unless you're Nigel, you cannot necessarily work this out completely accurately. So yeah, that was my game against Will Anderson, game 13. Lucky to win that one. So up to 9-4 now at this stage. Good evening to Muff with Tentacle. Good evening. We actually just went through the game against you on the stream. That was the last game that we just went through. I thought it was notable because I was behind by a lot. Did I miss a win? I don't think so. But yeah, we're gonna go through this. So yeah, I was gonna mention about that. So playing against Will, game 13, and then next game was against Dave Wiegand, who ended up winning the tournament. So we're gonna go through that one as well. But potentially, I have an InfiniWords keychain. I also have one, actually. I have one as well. Actually, I have two. I have a black one and a yellow and a white one. So yeah, thank you for making those. Ancient Cosmographer was very keen to hand them out to the VIPs or to anyone that knew what InfiniWords was. in that room, which again should be a lot of us, but when you look around the room, probably not that many. But it was good, and yeah, thank you for making those. And one of them is in my bedroom right now, on my dresser. So yeah, all good. Appreciate that a lot. Okay, so let's reset this board, and we will start showing you this game against Dave Wingan. So he starts with Faith on the board. And I was lucky because he actually plays a tile on the board that I needed to bingo. I have these letters here. I needed that T. A few other tiles that I needed as well, but the T was enough. I played Outpace his highest score in bingo. I won't say the score because that is not what we do here. But next move he plays Curie after like maybe 4 minutes of thinking. Again, Dave is very strong on his bingos. And he's generally pretty decisive with other things, but when he takes that long, then it starts to become a little bit concerning. But he plays Curie for 14 points. A lot of hooks for Curie, especially with the S and the T. So yeah, my post bingo draw here, not great. It's actually just this. Oh, good evening to Itchy Cosmographer. I have so few left that even my brother doesn't get one. Oh, sorry. I thought you would have put them aside. Or you should just have the ones that you've signed for the real fans. You'll go onto eBay in about 50 years from now, and you'll be worth 1 billion Ancient Cosmographer coins. Even if I had plenty, he doesn't get one too. That's fair. Okay, I understand. I get it. And that makes perfect sense. Okay, so I had this rack here. No particularly any particularly great moves here, I think, as far as I can see. Regenerate choices, you can see there's not really that much. I thought about Tund. Didn't want to open that up. Thought about Tund there, but I was like, well, doesn't leave particularly great tiles. But I decided to actually play Tooled for 12. Kind of a little bit concerned about the 4 timer lane, especially when he plays like lots of 1-point tiles. He obviously doesn't have any big tiles, so felt like I could probably leave this O open for a bit longer. Maybe I could draw into something myself, maybe draw into a bingo. Trying to optimize my leave a little bit, so Tooled was my move. It does not take an S as well. Again, I'm pretty sure that they would not fall for that, but in case he did, then I would be ready for it. And then he plays off Squidge here for 38. So that was that. So what did I do? I kept DNT and I drew AOST. So very lucky here because there's a bingo here as well. Dotants, again, different places to play it, but I decided just to go for the highest scoring option. 79 points. He just drew 6 random tiles, so we'll just have to hope that he doesn't have anything big in that spot. And of course he did. Just like the best spot, they just have the tiles, right? Whenever you think you have a shot, he plays Zoom for 75. I'm like, oh man, okay, never mind. See how it is. Then I have this rack, my post bingo draw here. Not particularly astounding, but again, I have a pretty standard best play here, just playing Nye and Y. It's okay, they victimized me too. Yeah, I could play Meanie here, but I decided to play Nye. Setting my A hook looks very good with Namer as a leave. Unfortunately, this played straight into his hands. He played Grappling and Any, so this was not good. Looking too good for me here. So yeah, I got a bit of a funky draw here. I drew BF from that rack there. I was thinking about just fishing for something, and then I was like, well, maybe I could score a fair number of points and not be that far. Not just take the slight deficit, so to speak. I just move on. So I was gonna play something like Furman here, but then I was like, wait a minute, I could just play Baft, and I think that does the trick, but actually keeps better tiles. So I decided to do that, and that was the right play. And then, just like Curie, when you play Curie here, he actually thinks for a while. He thinks for maybe like 4 or 5 minutes. Asia Cosmogma says, Dave was victimized by his own phony of Morby against me. Oh, yeah, because there's Morbies and then just Morby with a Y. Yeah, it's not IE. But just like Curie, he had a lot of vowels. He played Aioli here for 15. And I couldn't believe he played that because this was my rack. I had this. So I had no bingos playable at this moment in time until he plays Aioli in like pretty much the perfect spot. I have Antimir for 89. And that came down so fast. I was so fortunate that the M also gets doubled as well. So very fortunate with that. He plays He's here for 44, which again was very timely because I had the X. So if this wasn't here, then I would have had Axe underneath here. But he blocked it. Really wasn't sure what to play here. This was a really kind of weird play, and my move was not best by any stretch. I was just very worried about playing Axe, and with the 4 O's unseen, there's more O's, more of that tile than any other tile left unseen to me, and Exo, which would have just given him back like 40 or 50 points, especially if he's holding like V's or W's, like Wove, like W-O-V-E is very likely to happen. Wove, Rove, something like that, or Woe, even something, I don't know. Just didn't feel right. Just didn't sit right for me there. So I decided to be like, well, if he plays something here, maybe I can cash in the X underneath, maybe, somehow. Or just keep the X for a rainy day. So yeah, I decided not to do that. I decided just to play Oak, which actually isn't even on this list. Great. But I played Oak here. I was like, well, I'll just get rid of an E. Let's hope for something a bit better next time. So I'm now up by 37 points. This actually gives him a really nice play. He actually plays Devil. D-E-V-V-E-L on this spot, which again wouldn't have happened if I played Oak. So and actually he didn't have any O's at that moment in time, which I asked him about afterwards. So Axe actually would have been fine in that sense. So this is my actual rack here. Get a little bit lucky here that I draw 2 consonants. Again, there are more consonant vowels than seen anyway, but could have easily have drawn into some O's or something and kind of been derailed. Wasn't really sure what to do. I have the option to play Axe again here. I mean, I did keep that, and now that I have no O's, and Dave just played 6 tiles, probably would have drawn some O's. Maybe have drawn the blank as well. I think there's even less of a chance of me playing. If I was on that same train of thought, I shouldn't be playing Axe here. So I decided to play Max instead for 31 points. So that's what I did. And then Dave is now opening up the board. He plays Chin here for 36. Seems like an aggressive play. I didn't particularly like it because I'm sitting on this rack. On this rack now. Is that right? Oops, that's not what I have. Wait, what have I done here? So QAM. Sorry, 1 minute. I have this rack. Sorry, I have too many. I can't even read my handwriting. I was running a bit low on time at this stage. But this is what rack I had. For me trying to be cautious about the X and not having an O, I still don't draw any O's. He has not played any O's yet either. And now I've drawn into, funny enough, all the E's that are left in the game. Which maybe is to some degree good, but there's still 2 blanks on the scene. I'm in bad shape. Very bad shape. And Dave is now opening up the board, and I'm assuming he has the blank, at least. And he is going to bingo there very soon. The N is not a bad floater for me as well. I could bingo through it with maybe an O draw, like Encierro or something. But then it now really becomes a matter of like, what do I play now? And again, I have the last E's, so I was actually keen to keep maybe 2 of them. But at the same time, there's 2 blanks on the scene. You could play more tiles. You could get those blanks. I kind of ran my time down a little bit here. I decided to actually just play Faither, get rid of ER here. I could play something like Rev here as well, but I think they scored a bit more, so I decided to do that. Thank you, Brentis, for that reference. Wow, that's interesting reference there. Dave then plays Joel for 27 points, so he now goes to front. So with these tiles, I got very, very, very lucky. I draw N blank from the bag, so I did draw one of the blanks with my 2 tile draw. I think I had like 2 minutes left on this turn, so I was just thankful to find the best bingo here very quickly, and I just put it down straight away. I saw the word immediately and was like, maybe I should think of maybe some other words that could play there, but again, 2 minutes left, less than 2 minutes left at this point. We just played it instead, so it was actually the only playable move that actually hit the treble of Narcine. So I now go up by a lot. And then he actually has this rack here. He has this rack. So I was very lucky because I just got to the bingo on the end just in time, because he has things like Bargoons and things like that. Because there was no business for either of us to play onto that end whatsoever if we didn't have a bingo ourselves. So I was just very lucky to draw the blank in a very opportune moment. And this also meant that he couldn't bingo, because he put this J out here in space that doesn't really go well with his rack. So he plays Roos. And then I have this rack here. And I play my my best move of Buy and Trendy. And then he plays Lag for 11. So that was it. I won 488 to 450 in that one. Lucky with those bingos, so I got 4 bingos in the end. 4 to 1, and it was only a 38-point game. So I managed to come out of this just after lunch with a Will Anderson win and a Dave Weekend win. And not only that, at game 15, I was actually rewarded with a buy, because they were actually handing out buys to the people at the top going down, instead of the more usual stuff of handing buys to people from the bottom upwards. They just didn't want, from what I understood, they just didn't want prize winners. Some prize winners to have a buy and not others. So if people at the top all had a bye, then at least they would have all have played the same number of games. Let's analyze the bye. Yes, game 15, I got a 50-point win, and luckily there was nothing on the board. I actually had time to go to my room and analyze my games in that time. It was right at the end of the day, so I had time to do it. Was your buy streamed? Well, it should have been. Would have been the best I played all day. But yeah, that buy gave me another win, so I was actually 11-4. But was there food involved? I don't think there was, actually, because game 15 was the game before the last game before dinner, so I didn't want to spoil my dinner, you know. I actually had a hosted dinner to host at a steak place, so I was like, I need to save my belly for that. Equity loss from suboptimal nap -10. But actually, the real reason why I didn't nap or I ate any food to disturb the equilibrium is because game 16 was against no other than Ancient Cosmographer. I had to be ready and awake, and be ready for anything that could happen, because he was the leader at the time. He was the leader, and he was leading this tournament for a very long time. So I had actually moved into third place, I think, and I was just the next person on the chopping block for good old Ancient Cosmographer. This is not a game I'm going to analyze though on the stream, because I was very fortunate here. I did win despite me phonying on the second turn. But I did manage to get 4 bingos down and draw both blanks. So that's what I get for phonying against him. But yeah, I got 537 to his 422. I think based on everything apart from the phony, I played pretty well. About as well as I probably could have played. So yeah. We want to see it. Well, I don't know. Might have to miss out another game somewhere. Because the thing is, I have 2 more games to analyze. Okay, do people want to see this game? Do you actually want to see it? I know Brentus Firma says he wants to see it. Is there anyone else that wants me to go through my game against Ancient Cosmographer or not? No one does? Okay. Alright, okay, we'll do it then. Okay, this was not... If my stream goes on too long and I fall asleep during my stream towards the end, then I'm gonna blame one of you, okay? So, just saying. Just gonna say that now. But we will go through it then. If you want... We want to see the phony. Oh, man. We don't want to see... I don't want to... taint your eyes. But with my phonying, one of my 3 phonies during the tournament. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so let's do this again. So, okay. So what do I do here?
Is this game on your only phonies?
You're gonna pull that one out yourself?
This... Thank you, Brentus Firmus, for the sub. Appreciate that so much. I'll do it for you guys, alright? I'll do it for you guys. There's no problem. I'll give the people what they want. It's all good. Okay. First rack here. So yeah. It's either Wex or Tux, really. I did think about Unwet as well, but I was like, let's just keep it simple here. Let's just play Wex. I guess Unsex is also another option too, so a few options here, but I wanted to keep it relatively blocked. And then he plays Ixia here. now that the X has already been played. So this is where I play my phony. I have this rack. I was already in my mind like going to play it very quickly if I if I had a place to play it, because Ixtia then give me a place. I played Nuggets. I got it mixed up with Nuggars, Nougats, and probably some other things too. Chicken McNuggets, exactly. So I played that, and it was not a word. So that got challenged off the board. Is Asia Cosmographer here? Yeah, you're here. Should I mention the next part about this game that you could have played, or do you want me to not mention it? I'm gonna leave that up to you because you know, this is technically my stream. I'm going to out myself on my mistakes. We need the law. Did I screw? Wait, I told you about your screw up in person. Did you forget? I mean, you played Rouse here. Oh yeah, is it okay? Do you want? Did you? Yes. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, Ancient Cosmographer has already said Ovarius. So that was actually his rack, as far as I'm aware. So, how do I alphabetize this? Oh. So this was actually his rack. So he played. He played Rouse underneath Ixia's, but when you told me, I don't even know why I asked you what letters you kept. Of course, because I was like, Rouse, of course, you've got a bingo. Why didn't you play the bingo? and then he said I had OA left, and I was like, wait a minute, you have Ovarius, and he completely didn't see it. But it was a hook for Varius. Ovarius is also a Collins only word. I will also stick up for you on that one. But that was, so yeah, we're both near the top of the standings, and this is what we're playing on table 1 so far. So yeah, Rouse was played. Let's move on. I'm not gonna highlight this too much more. Okay, Rouse was that. I still have Nuggets. So I was gonna play Ungag for 24. What I actually did miss was Ungag through the A, and that actually keeps the S hook for Ungag. It's a few point error. It's not that much, but it's a notable move that I missed. And then he plays Gotcha here. And I, fortunately, keeping my AST, I draw into EILU. So I have Situle in 2 places above and below the W. To play underneath. So that was that. And then he plays Fondas for 42. And then I kind of have a weird post bingo draw of this. I have the blank, I have the J, I have the Q. Really wasn't sure what to do with this. But I was like, well, the U is in this weird spot here. I could actually maybe play something with the Q if I draw enough vowels. So I decided that I was going to play Jib here. Keep EQR blank, which actually isn't too bad for maybe landing something here. But it probably is. I think it's the best play anyway. I could also draw into maybe some things through here, but again, you know, unlikely, but could still happen. Jib, and then he plays Gov underneath here, so that kind of blocks that part up as well. So with my EQR blank draw, I actually get very, very lucky here. I drew a U and 2 other high scoring tiles. So I have the C and the Y. And I'm like, wow. I don't quite have a bingo, but I have a very high scoring play. So I have query for 70 points, keeping my blank. I mean, this is great. I was like, wow, all right, now we're talking. So 70 points there for query, puts me about a bingo in front. And I was like, I'm sitting pretty here. But then he comes down with Darknet out of absolutely nowhere for 90 points. I was like, what? What just happened? Oh boy, I was like, okay. So he's still in front after all that. But with my C blank draw leave here, I draw pretty nicely here. ADMOT, and I see my highest scoring play, 98 points through the R of Darknet, Democrat. There we go, boom. So back up to 80 points in front, but again, he refuses to let go of this. He plays res for 48. And I get lucky once again because my post-bingo draw is Scenari, and I have 2 T's to play through with Democrat at the very least. And it becomes one of those first world problems when you're like, okay, which bingo am I going to play through? Where do I play through? Which T do I play through? And I was thinking about that for like 3 minutes. But I decided to play not Inertias because that opens the 9 timer. I played Satinia. I played it on the left side of the board here because I feel like it's actually kind of... I mean, there are a bunch of bingo lanes. Yeah, I remember thinking Satinia took a while. Yeah, because I was thinking, what is the best way of blocking on this board within 2 moves? Like Nigel taking 2 minutes to open Annihilate against me. Yeah, I did see that. I was like, what? What's he thinking about? He's just making sure in his mind that he saw the right word in his head. But like, I could play this here. This blocks pretty much everything in the top corner up here. But I was like, well, he could like play parallel to the M, an M in the M column, or open something here and then I have to deal with it, and all this is still open. But if I do something down here, then this actually does a really good job of just basically blocking everything in this bottom left quadrant, and then I don't really have to think about it again. I don't have to really touch it, don't have to do anything. Like, there's space with the G here, but it's not going to score match. The A, G, I, T floaters are all gone. It just leaves one floating tile, the T here, and an S hook, which again, there's only an S and a blank on scene, so might not be all that likely that he has it, I don't know. But it potentially just narrows down the scope as to what he can play. So I decided to play it here instead. Again, I don't know necessarily if the thinking is really sound. I think you can make cases for both of them, but I was like, in the end, I just gotta play something. What's the next move here? I can't even read my handwriting. 35 points. Oh wait, I think he played down here. Is that right? Is it AVE? Wait, I can't even remember what I can't even see I can't even read my handwriting. Wait a minute, 1 second. No, sorry, it's OWE. Sorry, I can't. That's how bad my handwriting is. I can't even read it. Wait, need to. Okay, it's not AVE. It's OWE. Underneath Democrat, this is what he played. 35 points. So he's still about a bingo behind. Not completely out of it yet. But again, I was talking about the kind of the 2 moves of trying to block up the entire board. I actually did have a bingo here on this turn as well, but it didn't play. I have Impulse. And I was actually partially looking for bingos to play as well, but decided that blocking this T and blocking this S hook that I just drew the other S is something that I need to deal with, so I played Muesli here. for 31 points. I also did have Paizo to play here, but I didn't want to do that and then open up the bingo lane up top, so I'd rather keep the P and maybe draw into one of the 4 E's or 2 I's that are unseen, keeping and maybe play it next time. And that way I can do that kind of guilt-free, because Muesli kind of blocks the top part of the board. So that's kind of why I did that. And I think Muesli kind of wins pretty much almost every time anyway, so decided to do that. And then he actually does play Paizo here for 48, so again another high scoring move. Only 50 points behind, so just still need to watch out here for myself. But I was lucky because I did draw the blank. And there are bingos playable with the P at the top of the board and the G at the bottom of the board. So I decided to play Targeted for 63. And then he plays Liney. And I have this rack. He actually has FLN left, and I remember that there was no way to go out. There was obviously just some high scoring plays like Finn down here, or Fend, so I was like, there's no point blocking anything. Might as well see what I can do to try and get as much spread as possible, and I was thinking maybe I should try and set myself up. So if we just run the championship player in Quackle, you can see that Holt comes out on top, keeping BEO because it sets up OBE next to it, and that's exactly what I played. It becomes very difficult for him to block it. It's near enough impossible, really. There's no point shooting yourself in the foot to kind of stop me from going out when you could just score points yourself. So I knew that this was going to stay open. So Holt was my play, and then he plays Finn for 29, and then I have Obe to go up for 40. So I'm really trying to rack up the score there, and ends up with a 537-422 victory on my part. So I was very lucky. There you go. You got what you wanted, everyone. You wanted to see more games? There you go. That was the final game of day 2. And I was actually on a 7-game winning streak. Yes, good GG indeed. Yes, I got very lucky. And I knew that you were basically whipping every single person that that basically sat in front of you. So I was very lucky to escape that with a win, especially after an early phony. So yeah, 12-4 after 2 days. Sitting in 3rd place, not too bad at all. Alright, so we will move on to day 3. And I started this with game 17 against Enoch Nawali, who I believe is an African champion. I don't know if he's the current one, or maybe he was the champion maybe a year or 2 ago, or a few editions ago. But again, very strong player. Got very lucky here as well. He actually phoned in the first turn, and I managed to get in front early on as well with 2 bingos. I say this is something that I should analyze, but or should show you. But according to Macondo, I think every single move apart from one was actually the perfect move. The one that I didn't do the perfect move, it was actually the second best play. So I got a very high elo there, but again, not really that interesting for purposes of going through moves. There's not much to talk about. So I won that game by how much did I win by? Well, by a lot. 108 points. Okay, up to 13-4 after 17 games, and I was now in 2nd place, trailing Ancient Cosmographer. But this is where my tournament kind of started going downhill. Game 18 against Edgar Odonkara. I was leading towards the end, and again we were talking about the prediction that we have going on about how many blanks that I got during the tournament. after I got my bingo down near the end, there were still 2 blanks unseen, and what Edgar told me was that both blanks were still in the bag. I left them both in the bag. He played off 4 tiles out of 6 that were in the bag, and he picked them both up and bingoed to win. So, ended up losing that game by 49 points. Game number 18. Game number 19, I'm against Sami Okasaga. Was looking good initially. I started off with a bingo, but that's about as good as it got because I was very close to a bingo on one turn. I actually did play the best play, a 4-timer that got rid of 6 tiles, keeping an A. And then, again, this game is just like, I guess with all of sports even, can just come down to moments. So I kept an A. I drew A, O, 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 V. And then immediately had to exchange. And then the next thing was that 2 moves later, my rack improved to being able to play required with the Q on the triple letter square. So the R was on this square. And then I could play required going down with the Q here and hitting the double for like 130 points. But not only did I have that available, that was the only bingo possible, but Sami played a bingo, his own bingo, through that same R. So I not only lost 74 points for his bingo, but I also couldn't get my own bingo down for 130 points. Right just before I was about to pull the trigger. So 2 moments that could have potentially have swung things in other directions. Didn't quite happen for me. Ended up losing by 81 points in game 19, so 13-6. The next game was actually against Nigel. I was actually planning to go through this game because it's a game against Nigel. And because there's actually not that much to talk about also. But again, I haven't played Nigel for a very long time. But I will go through it because any Nigel games is good content for the stream. So yes, let's go through this game. So he starts with Vin. Corti is a Verti, so he plays Vin like this. And then I have this rack here. So I probably thought about this move maybe a little bit longer than I wanted to, but there were a few options of maybe playing Byerly or Bit or Hit or something. Like there's a lot of moves that score about 20. Gets rid of some bad tiles. Decided to play Hit. Seems fine, I guess. Also Buy as well. Buy and Viner, also another option. They're all about the same, so let's just move on. Alright, so I hope you're ready now. Hope you're ready for this. This is where things started, getting funky now, because he starts playing Sunrise here for 85 points. I actually do have a bingo myself. I had Lobelia. So I have this rack. So I find my highest scoring bingo through the S of Isolable for 70. I did have Violable as well, but this scores a lot more. Keeps things a bit more closed. No problem. Next move, he bingos again. He plays Fatherly through the E of Isolable. Which again, could be a lot worse if I put it in this spot, but it's okay. 67 points. I actually draw into a bingo here, Gritted. But, as you can see with the generated choices, there are no places to play it. I am forced to play Grift here. Could play Grifted, but I decided to play Grift, keeping some better tiles. 30 points. So, next move. Nigel's already played 2 bingos in a row. I mean, let's say that there's actually 3 bingos in a row. He plays Ponytail through the T. Natural. I'm like, what is going on? What is happening here? Oh my gosh. 4 turns and he's already on 250. Okay. But I was like, okay, no problem. We got a chance here because I have this rack. I actually have a bingo. I have Midist. 74 points. I'm like, okay, I'm not too far behind here. I can still do this. It's okay. I'm 50 points behind. I've managed to get to about 200 after 4 turns, averaging 50 points a turn, but I'm still 50 behind. It's like, okay, there's still plenty of time. Let's think again. Nigel does not bingo here, but he scores 81 points. He extends my to Mixoid for 81. I'm like, what? What is happening? So he's already on 329. I'm like, huh? How? Whilst I have this rack, I'm like sitting here like a chump with these tiles, and I'm like, oh man, getting wrecked here. So I have this, and there's not a great deal I can do that's particularly good. I actually didn't see Canat, to be honest with you, but I wanted to keep these lanes open. I actually just play QI because in theory I could play enough underneath afterwards, but I don't know. I was like, maybe I could draw into something with the asp, like Feasance or something. There's maybe ways I can bingo. If I drew a C or a blank, 4 of the 41 scene tiles I could draw into it. Just gonna go for it here. And then after QI, he bingos. Are you surprised? He plays Trusman. Here, 84 points. That's right. In the last 4 turns, he has got 85, 67, which is like hardly anything, 84, 81, 84. He has 400. No, wait. Let me update the score. 413 points after 6 turns. Not only that, right? Not only did he play Trusman, but my fish of the C or the blank actually worked. I actually drew a C, and then he ends up blocking Feasance through this S. So that makes it even worse. I'm like, come on. I actually was for a second thinking I still had a chance, but then he comes down with a bingo blocking my bingo. Same thing as what happened in the previous game against Sammy when he blocked my required. Like, I just got very lucky to draw the C, and it got the carpet got whipped away from me very quickly. So I was like, okay, well, I'm 200 behind. I guess all we can do now is just try and get a relatively, decent score now in this game. I'm like, I'm not going to win this game, so I'm just going to play equity moves from now on. To play Facer for 33. He has a U and a V on his rack, and he plays it for 38 points. He plays Juve in between Ponytail and Grift, which is a place that I did notice with the C and the V, but I just didn't have anything to go there. But he ends up slotting some pretty ugly tiles in that spot. Here I actually had this rack. So I'm gonna make this a puzzle for you guys now. What is the best play here? I would like you to figure out what the best play is here. So to help you out a little bit, I did see some bingos here. So the bingo that was most notable for me that I saw was Ponso. That would be 77. You could also just not play bingo. Peon is also available here. Peon for 40, keeping CE blank, which actually looks pretty good. Again, if you were having the goal here, that was now my goal of just getting a decent score at the end of the game, that 40 points plus potential bingo looks pretty good. You get to 400, relatively straightforward maybe. And then there's obviously some other floating tiles here. So, Noah mentioned Peon. That was actually the move that I played, but it is not the best play, or the winningest play. Although this felt pretty good, to be fair. Keeping C blank, you got the D here, you can probably bingo for like 80 or something next turn. But yes, none of those options are the best play. I will show you what the best play is. And it is clozapine for 82 points through the L and the I. So Ponso otherwise would have been the highest scoring bingo, and then Peon is actually third in terms of valuation here because you're keeping really good tiles. So yes, Brenda's Famous, you got it right. Blank Z is the answer here. It's 42 points more than Peon. Again, there's an outside chance you get 82 now. You could potentially bingo on the next turn. Then you have a chance. So that's kind of... that is the play. But yeah, I'm pretty aware that you've already looked at that, because I don't think anyone is going to find this apart from the person sitting opposite me in this game. But yeah, there was... yeah, I did look through the L and the I for potential bingos. But I will be completely honest, I didn't look too hard, and completely honest, if I don't think I would have found this. I do know this word, but I don't think I would have found it. Unless, like, maybe the blank was a Z, actual Z, and then someone told me that there was a bingo here. Then maybe that might be the only time I would find it, but yeah, that was it. So Peon was played. Oh yes, no, yeah. Feel free to mention what your tiles were, and then what the 4 tiles in order that are. Okay, so PM was played. He ends up blocking this right side of the board. He plays Leica here for 31. I don't particularly draw well with my CE leave. I draw EGJR, so not particularly good. So I just get rid of the J and the G here. I play Jog, that's fine. And then Nigel actually exchanges, so he exchanges 5 here. So he slows down for 1 turn, that's good. I have this rack now. I don't have any playable bingos, but I'm like, I might as well try and go for something here. Oh wait, sorry, that's not a G, it's actually an E. Sorry, it's this rack here. So I just played Zay for 33, keeping Care blank. And to some, I mean, for some, I mean, I don't know if he, I mean, obviously he must have done it on purpose, but I was surprised that he actually didn't block anything here. He just plays Job and Obar here for 28. Maybe he's going for bingo himself. But with my Care blank, I end up drawing 2 O's, which initially didn't look particularly good, but it actually does bingo. I have Foot Race for 89, which I found. And then he plays Ents underneath Mixoid. You're really milking those points on that right side of the board. And then I have this rack, not particularly great, but it's still fine. He doesn't have a bingo. Ask Championship play here, what the best play is. I played Coage, however you pronounce it. 32 points here. So I did that, and then he plays his best play of Dern to go out. So, despite being 200 points behind at one point, I actually ended up losing by less than 100. It's a 466 to 563 loss to Nigel Richards, the GOAT himself. So I was kind of, in a way, kind of happy that I came out this game with a relatively decent score and didn't get completely blown out in this game, but it did contribute to a 3rd loss in a row. So now down to 13-7 at the day 3 lunch break. Game 21, I played against Ben Schonbrun. Did not go too well here either. I was slightly behind throughout the game and couldn't quite fit in a last-minute bingo despite my best efforts. End up losing by 49. So now 13-8. Game 22, I played against Indian expert Sujana Somaseka, who actually was the lowest seed in this entire tournament, but she's a lot better than her rating was given. Whatever her WIGPO rating was, I don't think that was accurate. I actually played her in Causeway, and I lost to her there. And this was no different. I actually also lost here too. I lost by 18 points in the end. Her 3 bingos compared to my 1 was good enough to win by a very small margin. And yeah, just couldn't quite make it over the line in that one. So that actually was my 5th loss in a row. Went from 13-4 to 13-9. That was game 22. And then game 23, I'm playing against Josh Sokol. And yeah, I struggled throughout the entire game also. Lost by 68 points. I actually ended up bingoing more times than he did. I ended up bingoing twice compared to his 1. And still lost by about a bingo. That's kind of how much I was struggling in that game. In between bingos. Yeah, I just didn't score many points otherwise. Just couldn't do it. And yeah, it was a problem. So 6 losses in a row from 13-4 to 13-10. And we have 1 more game to go before the end of the day against Mohammed Sulaiman. And this was a game that I won, so I did manage to win this game. Tipped myself to 14 wins. This was actually partly due to the fact that he played 2 blanks, and he misdesignated both blanks the other way around. So I had to call the tournament director over to explain the rule to him. I mean, I know I'm actually aware as a director, obviously for Prince City Cup and things, that Mohammed Sulaiman has done this in the past. He has circled the blank in the wrong order, or both blanks. He has both blanks. You've got to put it in order of the actual word, and he switched them both around. So I'm aware that he has done this before, and I obviously felt bad that I knew that what he was trying to do, but at the same time, we kind of have to go by whatever you circle. That is the rule. And I was also on a 6-game losing streak. Like I need to get some points on the board here. Have you ever done this yourself? I actually have never done that before that I can remember. I actually don't remember ever making a mistake with the circling of the blank before. I don't ever recall doing that. It just feels like it's one of those things where it's like you should just take an extra second to look at the sheet, or like have it in your mind when you're about to pick up the pen, and just have that letter in your mind the whole time until you circle that letter. Like, don't be thinking about anything else apart from circling that letter that you have wanting to make it to be. Don't get distracted by anything else, because it can cost you dearly if that happens. And to some degree, it cost him a little bit here too, because I was about a bingo in front anyway, and his double blank bingo would have blocked my best play of 50 points. And I had an X and a V and multiple other things. So like the fact is that I can get rid of my V and X for 50 points, and then I got rid of all my ugly tiles. It really helped me a little bit here to kind of get myself in front. And I kind of stayed in front the whole time. Kind of had a few other bingos later on, but luckily game 24 out of 28 managed to win by 106. So at least I managed to finish the day on a positive. 14-10 is not particularly where I wanted to be at the start of the day. I was 12-4. But that's just where we're at. That's just how it is. But we just be like, okay, well, I mean, I think I was in 16th or 17th place now. Top 10 get prize money. So I was just like, well, we can only deal with what we're going to have to do tomorrow. So let's just hope for a solid day 4. So let's move on to the final day. My first game was against Nigerian expert Depot Akanbi, who I have lost to many times before in the past. I'll tell you, he has a very awkward playing style, which will mostly kind of stifle you. But I was very lucky because move 2, I played the word Dolcetti, Dolcetti onto a D. And then after that, I played a word. I played mailbag, playing 6 tiles, putting the M on the triple letter, on this double space here. And then I immediately drew into a 9 timer through the M. He didn't block it. I played Trembler for 158, putting me way in front. I also played the nice Oidioid as well, which I was pretty happy with. for 11 points, but it got rid of all my got rid of all my bad tiles and also blocked all the bingo lanes at the same time. So I was very happy about that. But yeah, I managed to end up winning this game by 98 points. So far so good, up to 15-10. Game 26, I play against Matthew O'Connor. So yeah, didn't quite fall my way. We both exchanged, we both had bingos at the start. But I actually played my my phony here. So I played Synovite, Synovite, which is not a word, through the V. So the actual bingo of Venosity wouldn't have fit. So I think that this alphagram has caught me out in the past when I'm card boxing. But Synovite, I think it's Synovitis, I think is the word that I was confusing it with. Again, sometimes learning too many words is not necessarily a blessing. So I played Synovite instead, ITE. And then I had my hand in the bag, about to pick up my tiles. And then only did Matthew kind of notice what had happened, and then he quickly said hold, and then I took my hand out of the bag and then he challenged it off. So obviously it's not right to fast bag. I wasn't fast bagging whatsoever, and I gave him plenty of time, but it was just kind of weird that it, you know, funny in this sense that it took him like 10 to 12 seconds to actually notice what had actually been played, and didn't necessarily clock on to the fact at that time that it was a phony until that moment. So he got it just in time, and that proved to be a pretty pivotal mistake because I got my word of ditones down, and so let me show you. I'm actually going to go through a game against Kevin Fraley in a minute, but so basically I played like ditones down here, and then later on he actually also played ditones down next to it from K1 downwards. He actually plays the same word parallel to ditones, which was pretty funny. So yeah, I ended up losing that by about 80 points. So I'm now 15-11 and about 15th or 16th place. So I'm going to have to win the next 2 games to try and to cash. Do I have any hope? And even then, it might not even happen anyway. But the last game that we're going to analyze tonight on stream is my first game against Kevin Fraley, game 27. I did actually play him in game 28 also, but that one is not as interesting. So we're going to go through this game here against Kevin Fraley. Wait, he starts the game actually. Okay. So he plays Bouet first. And then I actually have some kind of weird tiles here. I have this rack here. Obviously hoping for a C or an N for floating tiles. There might be some others, but didn't get any of those. So yeah, thinking about playing Urao or Ore or something, but I think Urao is actually pretty good here. Keeping AES pretty good. Then he plays Calf. Above. Calf Bouet. Okay, so this is it. I actually kind of missed the best play here of Forza. I didn't even think about extending 4 to anything here. So I actually played R and Fora, setting up the S hook as well, making this board pretty much dead apart from having an S. So I was just kind of hoping he didn't have anything. And I guess I was kind of right, because he also he exchanges 7 here. He just throws them all back. But I didn't particularly draw well here either. So I have this rack here. I did run this through Macondo. I do have Seiza, S-E-I-Z-A, as a word. I decided to play it this way and get more points. Again, he just exchanged 7, so chances are that he hasn't got anything great. Completely random rack here. Macondo actually prefers me to play Seiza this way. A little bit more defensive, but I went for the slightly more aggressive option. So, what I completely forgot about was that he actually played a phony here. He actually played an expurgated word, and I didn't challenge it off. I guess I can still put this on the stream, right? I completely forgot about this until just now. I don't want to get cancelled, am I? I think I should be okay. We don't tell anybody about it. It'll be fine. I don't think it's. I mean, I mean, I don't know. It should be all right. Okay, so he play. I'm not gonna say the word, but he plays this word here, and I did think about it at the time, and I briefly thought that it might have been expurgated, and then maybe it came back. What happened was that Kevin played an expurgated word, and I actually didn't challenge it. So he played. I haven't said anything yet, and I haven't played it. I haven't put it on the board yet, but he played this word here. He played this, and I didn't challenge it. And I was like, there is something like this that was, that is still okay, and I couldn't remember what it was. And I assumed it was this, but yeah, I didn't challenge it off. So yeah, my bad. Completely forgot that this happened. I will be completely honest with you there. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. I have a really bad rack here, actually. It's actually this. I kept AE and I drew ELOOU, which again isn't particularly good, but on this board it's actually not that bad. I have Azol. Well, any move through the Z actually scores well, but Azol for 37 looks pretty good. Did that. And then he kind of blocks the S hook. He plays XU in the bottom corner. So it's kind of very cagey here, you can see. This board is not particularly open whatsoever. I have this rack here now as well. Again, these moves are kind of playing themselves to a certain degree. So I'm actually playing... I think I've made all my moves in the space of like 3 minutes so far, whilst he is taking about 8 minutes or 10 minutes so far. I played Unlove for 39. And then he takes it again another like 3 more minutes. He plays Milo through the L. And again, I have my move ready to go here. I have this rack. It kind of plays itself because if you look next to Azul, there's a nice spot there for Wiper. 45 points on a very tight board. Puts me way in front. But then he kind of pegs me back again. He actually has the S's to play Wipers. Doesn't bingo, but he plays Spinks for 62 points. So he plays that. I have this rack now. I have lots of T's. Decided to play Kotta and Ma, keeping RT, which looks pretty good. He very quickly plays He here just to block the Q, he said, at the end of the game. QI spot. Didn't want that to land. So here's a very interesting position here. I actually have this rack now. I actually have the Bingo Ruttier on my rack. And it doesn't play anywhere. But once you kind of look a bit closer to, in terms of what I can do, I really have no great option to play anything that makes my rack better. What? G heavy reacts will have to find another home. Wow, okay. Interesting. So there's a lot of different things here. You kind of suggest Giga or Aggro. Okay, well, those are also G heavy racks too. I did think about playing Uric, but it got rid of all my vowels. And you can see all the other moves here don't score many points. Like UR is an option. UT, Ruck, Ruts. Like that's the only thing that you can really do. And I actually just decided to exchange instead. Maybe I should have just played something like UR or UT or something, but I did exchange. I kept TER instead. So I got rid of IITU. I got rid of those. And then he played Lound. He just extended Lu to Lound. He had said at the time he had no vowels. So that was that. I just assumed he was just fishing. I was very lucky here because with my ERT, I actually drew into Garrot. So with the D now, he gave me a second position to play Garroted. But I decided to go for the higher option here above Spinks. And again, to go with my prediction about the blanks, I got no blanks here because he bingoed with both blanks in this turn. He played leftward, both blank, W and A. 76 points, nice find with leftward. But he is now is slightly in front. So this is my rack now. And you can see with the tiles that are left, there are not that many good tiles left. Kind of ugly tiles. A lot of E's and I's, which I already have a lot of. No A's left. No O's left. 7 vowels, and 6 of those are E's and I's. And there's still a Q and a J and V's and lots of N's and R's left. So actually there could be some good tiles left if you have like EINR and some other good tiles. Some other, you know, randomly good tiles, like the T or S or whatever. And the thing is, I don't have any N's or R's. So I decided to look a little bit harder to try and keep my A. And I found a really nice play here of MIDI, although I actually wasn't 100% sure of MIDI. Although I played Midist against Nigel early in the tournament, I actually wasn't 100% sure of MIDI. I wasn't sure if it was just Widdy with a W. So I played the same tiles here for 27 points. It's actually 13 fewer points. Yeah, but you know, bit of a misstep there. And then he ends up playing Jai, J-A-I, for 38 points. So it became very useful here because I kept AE. I drew 5 consonants here, including the Q. But fortunately, because I kept the A, I actually drew with the T as well, and I have cat. By far my best play here. So I had to play that for 39. And then he plays Nerd, N-U-R-D, underneath Garrot. So, I have this rack after Cat, and it was kind of bad because I drew B, N, and a V to go with my 3 tiles. I don't draw any vowels, and you can see the tiles left. Look at the tiles that are left. 5 vowels, 3 consonants, only 1 in the bag. There are bingos that can play. I am now 21 points behind. You can see the score there. I need to win this game to have any chances of cashing. So, what do we do? I guess the first option is to see what our opponent can do, especially with those kind of tiles. So I noticed that you can do something like Incia or Esserine, and Esserine is the only one that fits, like right here. And there's an I left. I don't see any other bingo with any other combination. So I was like, Esserine has to be the only bingo playable here if the I is still in the bag. And then now I'm looking at what things I can do. So the most obvious thing that I can do is actually also to play in the spot, because there's a space here, and I have the D and the Y here, so I can play Bendy. It's by far my highest scoring play, and it gets rid of a lot of the big tiles that I have on my rack. But the problem is I still keep the V. So it feels like I'm kind of stuck here now. I have to go for it. If I draw the E, one of there's 3 of the 8 tiles left. I have Vert in this spot here, and I have Vert here, so I'm okay. If I drew one of the 2 I's, I have Revo to go out here, but I don't know if that's easy to block after Bendy, because anything that my opponent will do will probably give back some kind of vowel that I can play through. So I decided to do Bendy, and I was lucky to a certain degree because he actually had this rack and I drew the E. So I'm up by 13 points. He doesn't really have all that many options here. He just plays his best move of Seric. And then I play Veer through the E of Seric for 15. And I win this game. We actually underscored one of his turns, so I actually end up winning this game 4-0-2, 4-1-3 to keep my hopes alive of cashing in this tournament. And for those that didn't know, in the penultimate game of this tournament, the people that were slightly ahead of me on spread were Nigel and Josh Sokol. And miraculously, they're both tied. So I actually overtook both of them on in the scoreboard, leaving me in 12th place. I've actually overtaken both of them, because now they're both half a win behind me. So it left like Ben and Will in 9th and 10th, and then I have Kevin who's in 11th. I've now tied him on wins. And it basically came down to Ben versus Will and me against Kevin for the final 2 spots for cashing, 9th and 10th. All of us have the same number of wins. We're just going to play each other, and whoever wins will just leapfrog all the other people that lost. And all the people behind us don't have enough spread or enough wins. So again, I'm not gonna go through the last game again. It's a rematch against Kevin Fraley. But I did win this game by about 140 points. Just like the game against Depot Canby, I bingoed early on in the game, 83. And then I actually played a 6-letter word. Just like what I did. Sorry, I played 6 tiles, but a 7-letter word. Opening to the triple, just like what I did with Mailbag. I played Mailbag here. And then I played Trembler through the M to get a 9-timer. I played Ennuied, N-E-N-N-U-I-E-D, so the D was here in triple lane. And then I immediately, again, 9-timer straight through that D. I played Embolden for 167 points with a blank. So I was very lucky on the final day to get 2 9-timers down, and I hadn't had a 9-timer the whole tournament, and I actually didn't have any 9-timers in the whole Causeway tournament either. So it's kind of funny that it was like buses, right? The 2 of them come at once. So because of that, I was leading by a fair bit, and then I also managed to get another 83-point bingo down. And ennui, sorry, yes, I'm not cultured enough to know how it's pronounced. But yeah, I played Construe for 83 points, and ended up winning 513 to 377. And that was enough to secure a 10th place finish at the Boblin Superstars tournament. Again, very lucky on day 3 to go 3-1, finishing off with a 17-11 record plus 481. And that basically concludes the analysis of the games and how my tournament went. So I did very well at the start of the tournament towards the middle, and then I kind of had a 6-game losing streak, and then kind of picked it up back again towards the end. Ahead of Nigel, I would add. Yes, Nigel did not cash in this tournament, and also neither did Adam Logan, the current world champion, who finished in 20th. So this kind of shows how strong this tournament actually was, because the greatest of all time over 28 games could not finish in the top 10, and Adam barely finished in the top half of the division. Out of 53 players, he was 20th after 28 games. Again, it's quite possible. I mean, I don't know. It's quite possible that the initial 15 games of the Westport World Wars may have worn them down a little bit. Maybe it could have got them warmed up at the same time, but it could also have just, worn them out a little bit before the actual tournament began. I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, these players have been playing Scrabble for a very long time. I wouldn't necessarily ever say that they would ever make that excuse, but I'm just trying to come up with ideas as to maybe why they both didn't do quite so well as maybe people had thought, or had them coming down as. But at the same time, a lot of the people in the top division can beat those guys. Given the right tiles, given the right circumstances, they can win. It can happen. So yeah, I was lucky enough to finish ahead of both of them. Both World Championship finalists from last year. And come home with, I think, $750. So not bad. Just getting a little bit lucky, so it was nice. And also my Wesper ring went up a little bit too, so I was happy with that. But yes, the other thing that we also have to address is the prediction that we had ongoing today. How many blanks did you think I got at Albany? So I mentioned this again, some of you might not have turned up at the start of the stream. So the first 3 games that I played, I had 1 blank each. Thank you, Hopeful Manor, thank you very much. And then the next 6 games, games 4 to 9, I had 0 blanks. 0. So after 9 games, 18 possible blanks, I actually only picked out 3, and I was still 5-4 at that point, despite playing people like Adam Logan, Wellington, Dennis, Rashid, Jason Keller, all of those players, and I have still had 5 wins. But at the same time, what I will also say is that my blank count did pick up a little bit throughout the tournament. I was going to try and give some kind of breakdown here if I could, but but basically I got my opponents double blanked me 10 times, and I double blanked my opponents 5 times. So this means, as we had 27 games, I got 10 blanks in those 5 games. No blanks in 10 games, which is actually over a third of the games, which then leaves the other 12 games where we just shared the spoils. So 12 plus 10 is actually 22 blanks out of 52. That's sorry, out of 54. I had 22 blanks out of 54 throughout this tournament, which is I don't even know what the percentage is of that. I guess I could work it out. What is that? It is 40%. At 40% of the blanks against some of the very best players in the world, and I just about managed to finish in 10th place. So, with that in mind, if you voted for option 3, 20 to 23 blanks out of 54 in the prediction, that is the prediction result for tonight. So I will choose that option. Well done if you voted for that. So yeah, that was my oh, actually it was my wife that actually voted for that. I don't know if I even told her how many blanks I got. Nobody voted for option 1, but option 3, 2, 3, and 4 were all voted for. I actually don't even know if I even told my wife how many blanks I had. Because I only worked this out like after the tournament. I didn't tell her during the tournament. I didn't know. Anyway, that was how my Boblin Superstars tournament kind of came and how it went. I do have another tournament, as mentioned earlier. I am playing in the Scrabble Players Championship in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, next weekend. So in over a week from now, we'll be there. That is the NASPA National Championship, essentially. I will not be going to Williamsburg for World Cup. So this is going to be my last tournament for a little while, I think. Oh, is that streamed? Yes, it should be streamed. I believe so. I expect it probably will be streamed on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel again. I'm not sure if there's going to be 2 streams, one for NWO, one for Collins, like there was last year. I'm not sure. But more on that to come, I think. So yeah, that was how it went for me. Again, well done to all the winners of the Boblin Superstars. Well done to, especially to Dave Wiegand for winning the tournament. Winning with a, very commanding spread as well. And $20,000 top prize as well. Not bad at all. But yeah, again, you guys can still watch any of the coverage that on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. If you want to watch any of those 28 games back again, or if you did miss anything, you want to go back and see it, feel free. As I said, next one is SPC. But before I go to SPC, I still have my my series of 50 games against the BESTBOT to a 20-minute time control still to go. I have 2 more match days to go, match days 7 and 8 out of 8. And those 2 are going to be on next 2 streams next week. So Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to be finishing that off and finishing off the 50 games that we have lined up in store for you. So we'll be playing 6 games in both of those streams. I think the score, I'm not sure what the score is now. I can't even remember what the score is. Let me just quickly figure this out. The score right now is 14.5 wins for me and 23.5 wins for the BESTBOT. So we're hoping to try and get to about 20 wins at least. Get to a decent win percentage, but we'll see. But yeah, that's what's in store for you for next week, and then obviously the week after that, I won't be around because I'm playing in SPC. So yeah, that's great. Again, if you've enjoyed the stream and don't already follow this channel, please hit that follow button right now. Become a subscriber, just like Brentus Firmus did earlier in the stream, to help support Scrabble streaming, so help support this channel, help get Scrabble streaming all over the interwebs and all sorts, so more people can watch it and get involved with it. And that will be great if you can do that. Every little bit helps. So again, if you have Amazon Prime, You can use your free Twitch sub for the month and consider subscribing to this channel to help do that, because it's literal free money that goes down the drain if you don't use it. So yeah, that's about it. I'll be back on Tuesday around 8:30 US Central Time, continuing my my series of 50 games against the BESTBOT. We'll be playing games. What is it now? 39 to 45 or something. 39 to 44, I think. 6 games there. So hopefully you guys can tune in for that. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and a great evening, and a great afternoon, morning, wherever you may be. So yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is actually go raid Ragtime Rev. Looks like he is playing some kind of... playing Super Mario World. But apparently he is doing some kind of anagrams of some kind. I don't know if he's maybe already done that or not, but we will go raid him anyway. So go enjoy Ragtime Rev. Thank you, Brentus Firmus. Thank you for watching and for being around, as always. I'm sure, I'm sure we'll be in touch as well about the Arsenal tiles. Again, what you've got going looks great already, so if there's any other things that you think might be an improvement, then feel free to send that to me in an email. But yeah, that's about it. Time for me to go to bed, so thank you all for watching. Appreciate you all as always. We're back again on Tuesday with another 6 more games. So until then, take care of yourselves everyone, and good night.